You ever wake up one morning thinking it's going to be just another normal pre-wedding day? You know, final cake tasting, double-checking the seating chart, making sure Uncle Bob isn't sitting next to Aunt Linda because they still haven't spoken since the Great Potato Salad incident of '09, only to find out your fiancé has pulled a disappearing act worthy of a Netflix true crime special? That was me. And before you start asking, no, I didn't get a ransom note. And no, Liam Neeson wasn't involved. Though I did consider calling him. The woman I was supposed to marry in exactly 7 days had apparently decided that forever meant until Chad from high school sends a late-night "Hey stranger" text. The betrayal was so textbook, I'm pretty sure it's in Chapter 3 of Toxic Love for Dummies. Now, I could have cried into my coffee. I could have posted some vague inspirational quote on Instagram about self-love and healing journeys, but nah, I smelled something bigger. This wasn't just a runaway bride situation. This was a full-blown conspiracy. You think I'm kidding? Oh, I did my research. She didn't just ghost me. She strategically evaporated like a CIA asset, being extracted from enemy territory. Bank accounts closed on her end. Social media scrubbed clean. Mutual friends suddenly too busy to talk. It was like everyone had gotten a memo except me. Which, by the way, wouldn't surprise me if they actually had a group chat titled Operation Betray Brad. So what did I do? Did I run after her like some tragic Nicholas Sparks hero? No. I pulled a reverse card. I stayed quiet. I smiled. And in that smile, behind my very calm demeanor, was the early blueprint of revenge. Because here's the thing about betrayal. It's not just about what someone did to you. It's about how creative you get when you turn the tables. And I was about to get Picasso-level creative. The thing is, my fiancée, let's call her Jessica because, well, that's her name, had always been obsessed with appearances. Instagram perfect brunches, matching outfits for Christmas cards. She was the type who'd stage a candid photo holding a coffee cup with the logo turned just so. If life was a movie, she was the director, star, and stylist. So when she ghosted me, she didn't just ruin a wedding. She threatened her own brand. That's where I knew I had leverage. But I wasn't going to throw a tantrum. Oh no. I was going to let her marinate in curiosity. Because curiosity, my friends, is the marinade for paranoia. A week is a long time when you've walked out on someone. Every hour she'd wonder, what is he doing? Is he heartbroken? Is he begging? Or worse, is he moving on without a meltdown? The truth? I was doing neither. I was busy rewriting the ending to this little Hallmark meets true crime special. And yeah, I'll admit, part of me suspected there was a deeper plot here. Chad wasn't just an ex. Chad was the same guy who'd stolen my parking spot at the gym 3 months ago. Coincidence? I think not. In my mind, this was all connected. Chad was the puppet, Jessica the co-conspirator, and I was about to become the unreliable narrator who blows the whole thing wide open. My plan started with complete radio silence. Not a single text. Not a single like on her inevitable beach selfie with the caption, "Healing Energy." I even unfollowed her Spotify playlists because, yes, I'm petty like that. But silence isn't enough. You have to pair it with subtle moves. I quietly canceled the honeymoon and got a full refund, moved the wedding caterer to a new mystery event, and had the florist change the floral arrangements from romantic elegance to celebratory freedom. You'd be amazed how roses can go from love to revenge with just a little red and black color palette. Friends started asking, "Man, what's going on? Are you okay?" And I'd just smile and say, "Better than ever." That's when I knew the rumors were starting to swirl. Humans hate a vacuum of information. It makes them fill it with the most dramatic version possible. And that's exactly what I wanted. Meanwhile, in my head, I kept replaying the moment I'd finally see her again. I imagined her walking in, expecting to see a heartbroken mess, but instead finding a man who had taken betrayal and turned it into performance art. Because if toxic love is a game, I wasn't just playing to win. I was playing to change the rules. And maybe, just maybe, I'd let the whole world watch her lose. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but I was thinking more like a Michelin star, 5-course, candlelit tasting menu. If Jessica and Chad thought they were the only ones capable of running a covert operation, they hadn't met the post-ghosting version of me, calmer, smarter, and just petty enough to be dangerous. My plan was simple in theory, but a logistical masterpiece in execution. Kind of like Ocean's 11, except instead of robbing a casino, I was going to rob her of the one thing she valued most: control of the narrative. Step 1 of Operation Table Turn was silence, but Step 2 was infiltration. I started small, a comment here, a strategically timed Instagram story there. Nothing about her, just me having the time of my life. A blurry photo of me laughing at dinner with friends? Check. A shot of me at the beach holding a surfboard I absolutely didn't know how to use? Double check. And the pièce de résistance. A photo with a mysterious woman whose face was conveniently turned away from the camera. That one spread faster than a Kardashian rumor. Now here's where the conspiracy part kicks in. While she was out there sipping mojitos with Chad, in what I can only assume was a budget Airbnb with quirky charm, translation, broken AC, I was collecting intel. My florist, my caterer, my photographer, all still on payroll, but now redirected toward an event whose guest list was selective. Think less wedding and more live-action exposé. I had even reached out to a buddy who dabbled in amateur filmmaking. The guy owns 3 drones, so you know he's serious, to help me set the scene. So, what's the angle? He asked. I grinned. Imagine if the Bachelor finale and a court deposition had a baby. The goal wasn't just to show people what happened. It was to make them feel it. To immerse them in the betrayal so deeply they'd leave questioning their own love lives. Meanwhile, I played the part of the completely unaffected ex-groom. Every mutual friend who texted, "Hey, are you okay?" got the same response. Never been better. I even joined a pickleball league, which, if you know suburban America, is basically the ultimate power move. Nothing says I've moved on like competitive pickleball and craft beer after. But don't get me wrong, this wasn't just about petty fun. Every move had a purpose. Like when I casually mentioned to our old mutuals that I was still hosting something on the original wedding date, but didn't say what. That little breadcrumb was bait, and humans are pigeons when it comes to breadcrumbs. The whispers started. Was it a smaller wedding? A breakup announcement? A themed barbecue? One guy swore it was a silent disco, and honestly, I let him run with it because confusion was my ally. And then came the fake leak. Using an anonymous account, I sent a tip to one of those local gossip Facebook groups. You know, the ones where suburban moms solve crimes faster than the actual police. The tip claimed that I was throwing a surprise vow renewal with a new partner. Totally untrue, but the beauty of rumors is you never have to confirm or deny them. You just let them ferment until they're strong enough to knock people off their feet. All the while I had eyes on Jessica. Not directly. I wasn't stalking. I just had sources. Sources who accidentally ran into her at Target or saw her at a dive bar looking, according to one report, weirdly tense for someone who just rekindled her great love. That's when I knew the paranoia was kicking in. And paranoia, my friends, is the appetizer to public humiliation. Now for the event setup. The venue stayed the same as the wedding. Why waste a perfectly good deposit? But the decor? Different story. Gone were the pastel roses and floating candles. In came deep red roses, black table runners, and lighting so moody you'd think Batman was about to crash the party. The catering menu got a makeover too. No dainty hors d'oeuvres. I wanted comfort food, messy food, food that says I'm thriving without you. Think BBQ ribs, loaded mac and cheese, and a dessert table so over the top, it looked like Willy Wonka got divorced and started stress baking. The pièce de résistance was the presentation setup, a massive projector screen dead center for a surprise slideshow. Guests wouldn't know what was coming, and neither would Jessica, until it was too late. Because yes, she'd be there. Oh, I knew she couldn't resist. Whether it was curiosity, ego, or the fear that I was moving on in a bigger, better way, she'd walk through those doors. And when she did, she'd step right into the most elegantly staged revenge scene in suburban history. The countdown had begun, and I was ready. Not just ready, excited. Betrayal had given me a gift, the chance to turn my pain into performance art, and I wasn't about to waste it. The morning of the non-wedding felt weirdly calm, too calm, like that still moment in a disaster movie right before the asteroid hits. I woke up, made coffee, and ate pancakes in my pajamas, while the rest of the town buzzed with theories. Was I getting married after all? Was it a breakup party? Was I joining a cult? Okay, that last one was my buddy Derek's idea. He swore the all-black decor screamed secret initiation. By noon, the venue was set. Deep red roses everywhere. Black table runners. The moody lighting made it feel like we were about to summon Dracula for a toast. The smell of barbecue ribs filled the air, a scent so unapologetically American, it could have been bottled and sold as Freedom No. 5. The projector screen loomed in the center, quietly waiting like a sniper in position. Guests started trickling in. Some were old friends, some were family, and some were there purely for the drama. The human equivalent of seagulls flocking to a dropped French fry. I could feel the energy, the whispers, the phone cameras half raised, the fake hugs from people who secretly just wanted a front-row seat to a live soap opera. And then, she walked in. Jessica. In a dress that screamed, "I'm thriving," but whispered, "I panic bought this at 3 a.m." Chad wasn't with her. Either because he had the self-preservation instincts of a raccoon avoiding traffic, or because even he realized this was a trap. Our eyes met. I smiled. She gave me that tight-lipped, I'm-in-control smile back. Bless her heart. She still thought she was the main character. I let the small talk swirl around for about 20 minutes, just enough for her to relax. People drank, laughed, pretended this wasn't awkward. And then, I tapped my glass. Time for the show. Thank you all for coming, I began, keeping my voice warm, like a pastor about to tell a wholesome anecdote. Today isn't the day I thought it would be, but in a way, it's better. The lights dimmed. The projector hummed to life. At first, the slideshow was sweet. Photos of me and Jessica smiling at beaches, birthday dinners, sunsets. The guests, Ed in unison. Jessica even glanced at me with a little smirk, like she'd won. And then slide 12 hit. A grainy phone photo of her last week in a bar with Chad. Slide 13, her laughing, leaning into him. Slide 14. A screenshot of a text she sent him, time-stamped 5 days before the wedding. I think I'm ready to try again. I never stopped loving you. Gasps. Actual cinematic gasps. Someone dropped their fork. The BBQ smell was now mixed with the thick aroma of scandal. I didn't narrate. I didn't need to. The slides kept rolling. More photos, more texts, a little montage of her week-long rekindling getaway, while I was allegedly finalizing our vows. Each image was like a gentle slap, the kind that hurts more because it's calm. By slide 20, Jessica's face had gone pale enough to blend into the tablecloth. She muttered something to the friend next to her. Probably, "This is out of context," or "he's crazy." But no one was buying it. Betrayal has a way of rewriting history in real time. When the last slide faded to black, I stepped forward. "Toxic love is a funny thing," I said. "It makes you think betrayal is just a plot twist in your little romance movie. But here's the thing. In my movie, this is the ending. And the sequel doesn't have you in it." There was a pause, then applause. Actual applause. Someone in the back yelled, "You dodged a bullet, man!" Jessica stood up, grabbed her bag, and made for the door. No dramatic exit speech, no tearful apology. Just gone. Again. Fitting, really. But the best part? Nobody followed her. Not a single guest. Even her own cousin stayed for the ribs. The party roared back to life, this time lighter, freer. We ate. We drank. We toasted to new beginnings and better endings. People asked me if I felt vindicated. I didn't. I felt entertained and free. Mostly free. As the night wound down, I found myself at the bar with a few close friends, bourbon in hand. Someone asked, "So, what now?" I took a slow sip, savoring the burn. "Now?" I said. "Now I live. Now I travel. Now I find someone who doesn't disappear a week before the wedding to rekindle with a guy whose best achievement is winning a beer pong tournament in 2011. They laughed. I raised my glass. To revenge, to freedom, and to never ignoring red flags again, unless they're on sale. The clink of glasses rang out like a full stop on the whole messy, ridiculous chapter. And that, my friends, is how betrayal turned into the best party I've ever thrown.